The entertainment business is totally incredulous right now. Just when supporters believed the situation between Kirk Frost and Rashida could not get much more messy, the startling revelation that he had already moved on surfaced. Yes, Kirk has been seen with an anonymous woman navigating years of ups and downs, betrayals, and public upheaval. The internet is not taking this well, quite naturally. Still, the most startling disclosure comes from the answer from Rashida. People close to the reality star said she didn't expect this, and how did she find out? More ferocious still, some claim she had concerns about Kirk's wandering eye before he did, while others say she was caught off guard. And supporters? I find they're not holding back. Some are supporting Rashida, stating that Kirk's conduct was disrespectful and premature. But others think Kirk has every right to seek a new beginning. Who is this new woman, though? Is she a new romantic interest or someone from the past? Above all, is Rashida genuinely finished with Kirk? Or is this scenario going to get worse? The rumors began as a few hazy social media posts and a few doubtful sightings, but they swiftly spread like wildfire. After a recent breakup with Rashida, Kirk Frost has a new girlfriend. Fans initially didn't believe it. Kirk and Rashida had weathered everything, including public humiliations, cheating scandals, and even almost losing their marriage, but they always managed to reconcile. However, something was different this time. There were receipts this time. Late Friday night, fuzzy paparazzi photographs of Kirk exiting a luxury Atlanta restaurant with an unnamed woman started making the rounds on gossip blogs. She was young, pretty, and evidently at ease with Kirk, so she wasn't just any woman. They were laughing, touching, and behaving like a pair, not just sitting at a table together. And fans went nuts as soon as those photographs emerged online. One fan tweeted, "There's no way Kirk moved on this soon, after all of Rashida's aid to him?" "This is ridiculous," remarked another. The genuine stunner, though, the response from Rashida. Rashida broke her silence in an unusual way as the internet was still processing the news. She refrained from yelling. She refrained from crying. Rather, she uploaded a single strange statement on her Instagram account, which greatly puzzled her followers. The remark was erased within minutes, but not before admirers screenshotted it and spread it widely. Was she alluding to Kirk? Was she confirming the breakup? When individuals show you who they really are, believe them the first time. Most importantly, was she actually done with him this time? As followers studied her letter, more facts began to come to light. Who was this woman? According to people close to Kirk, she wasn't simply a passing fancy. She had been in his life for a long time. Although the betrayal was more profound than anyone realized, some even conjectured that she was the reason Rashida ended their marriage. If she was upset, though, she wasn't displaying it, at least not in public. Insiders claimed that Rashida had been privately confronting Kirk about his behavior, asking him questions about who this woman was and how long it had been going on. The couple's tension was high, and those close to them were afraid that things would get ugly. Just when fans thought things couldn't get any worse, a shocking revelation came to light that completely changed the course of events. The woman wasn't just any new girlfriend. She was connected to Kirk in a way that nobody had anticipated. According to some sources, she had been a family friend for years and had even been around Rashida before. Others hinted that she was a member of Frost's management team, which meant that Kirk had been combining work and pleasure, something Rashida detested. Rashida knew this woman, one insider stated. The thing that's killing her the most is that this was no average groupie. This individual has previously been in their presence. When old footage of Kirk talking with a certain woman at events, in the background of club outings, and even liking her Instagram photographs from years ago surfaced, fans quickly went into full detective mode and began analyzing every woman who had ever been sighted near Kirk Frost. The more persons that were revealed, the more evident it appeared that Kirk had been entertaining this woman for a time. But how long? The receipts were there, screenshots of direct conversations, past communications, and even supposed texts between Kirk and this woman were shared online, and that was the information that everyone was ready to hear. Fans were enraged by some of the texts. which went back to when he was still with Rashida. Kirk been cheating. He never deserved her, one fan remarked, adding that Rashida was simply the last to know. This is embarrassing, someone else commented, but supporters were misguided to expect Rashida would just sit back and keep quiet. According to insiders, she was preparing a dramatic move that nobody had predicted. She had been silent for too long, and now? The following day, Rashida made a startling public appearance sans her wedding band, a simple yet effective statement that immediately electrified the internet. She was ready to let it all out. It's official, Rashida is done. She really took that ring off. Supporters commented as soon as they saw, and the rumors reached a whole new level. Kirk was a lifelong fumbler. However, that was only the start, because Kirk did something that nobody anticipated hours later. He officially joined the mysterious woman on Instagram. Kirk was seen sitting next to her with his arm casually thrown around her shoulders in a grainy photo taken in what seemed to be a VIP area of an Atlanta nightclub. The woman appeared entirely unaffected by the mayhem occurring online, sporting a knowing smirk and a form-fitting attire. What about the caption? 3 words only, fresh begins. Fans were devastated. This is very disrespectful to Rashida. He was already conspiring, which is why Rashida left. He's really out here behaving like he didn't just get divorced last week. Rashida was in the center of it all, experiencing it happen in real time as the internet went up in flames. What would she do next, though? Would she say something? Bring Kirk to light for all of his actions? Or was she preparing something much more ambitious? This drama was far from ended, that much was evident. Kirk's unexpected Instagram photo left the internet in amazement. It was a sentence that expressed everything without really saying anything. New beginnings. Rashida was ashamed. Fans were outraged, and Kirk. He was behaving as though he hadn't lately broken a marriage that had lasted for decades. However, what transpired next elevated this drama to an entirely new dimension. Rashida was not going to be deceived by Kirk. Rashida's move left everyone surprised just hours after his post went viral. She had a plan. She wasn't just going to sit around and watch Kirk show off his new connection. And a forthright interview was the first stage in that approach. Late that evening, it was revealed that Rashida would be appearing live on a renowned platform for an exclusive interview in which she would finally give her perspective. She would share everything in this lengthy, honest talk, not just a quick tirade on Instagram. Fans were incredulous. Oh, I'm going to grab my popcorn because she's ready to let it all out. Kirk should be anxious. The level of expectation was at an all-time high. Rashida had been silent for too long. People were eager for answers. They were inquisitive as to when Kirk truly began dating this new woman. Had he cheated once more? Was Rashida aware previous to the images being leaked? More significantly, what did Rashida do next? The interview did not let anyone down when it was ultimately broadcast. Rashida's energy transformed as soon as she sat down. She didn't retain anger. She wasn't even feeling anything. She was collected, at peace, and prepared to tell it like it was. She began by saying, "I'm not here to trash anybody, but I am here to clarify the air because I see a lot of people twisting the story." She then started disclosing information that nobody had anticipated. Let's be honest for a moment. This isn't a fresh beginning. This has been going on for a long time. The supporters were surprised. The suspicions had been swirling, but to hear Rashida publicly verify it, everything impacted differently as a result. I found out months ago, y'all. That's why I left. Since when? This implied that Kirk had been amusing this woman while continuing to pretend that he was resolving his differences with Rashida. No one realized the depth of the betrayal. It wasn't about the infidelity. Sure, that's bad, but we've experienced worse. It was the continuous disdain. It was the lying. Rashida glanced straight into the camera, her voice solid. He didn't even fight for this marriage when I eventually left him. Instead, he moved on as if I didn't exist or that we hadn't established an entire empire together. And that is the most painful thing. Fans were angry. Rashida was never deserved by Kirk. His treatment of her is awful. She elevated him, and he discarded her as if she were inconsequential. Rashida then made a surprising discovery. And let's be real, that girl ain't the only one. Wait a minute. Rashida leaned closer, almost ready to say something improper. Kirk has a type, but there are more, I can assure you. Social networking exploded. She asserts that there are more side chicks. Lord have mercy. Kirk has been acting shady out here, and he is sick. Rashida wasn't finished, though. Before the interview was ended, she had one final thing to say, and it was expressly addressed to Kirk. I genuinely hope you locate what you're looking. Because you never get a good woman back once you lose her, she added and turned to leave. The entire love and hip-hop community was devastated by that occurrence. Rashida was mistaken, though, if she imagined she would have the last say, because Kirk too had no intention of sitting silent. He went live on Instagram the following day. He had a lot to say, let's just say that. He shook his head and began, do you guys honestly think anything? I don't cheat. Rashida and I are done. Fans weren't believing it. She was furious because I moved on first. Take it seriously, Kirk. Why are you lying when the receipts are right there? You've been cheating. However, Kirk stepped up. Look, my children's mother, Rashida, is the object of my adoration. Ultimately, though, she is conscious of the reality that we just outgrown one another. But after that, he got messy. And let's talk about who really moved on first. Because if y'all knew what I know, y'all would be looking at her strangely. Help, what? Did Kirk mean Rashida also had someone else? The fans were startled. Oh goodness, this man is now insulting me. What is he discussing? Rashida, girl, we need answers. Suddenly, the story took an unexpected turn. People began to ask about Rashida's personal life after Kirk seeded the notion. Did she start dating someone new? Had she moved on prior to Kirk's girlfriend becoming revealed? And just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, the internet was stunned by another released video. Rashida during a private meal was depicted. Fans instantly knew the man sat across from her. It turned out to be a well-known Atlanta businessman who had previously been connected to her. Their hands were not clenched together. They weren't sharing a kiss, but the nonverbal cues, giving more than friends was what it was. Suddenly, there was split on the internet. Hold on a second, was Rashida seeing someone else the entire time? The comments poured in. Kirk is still wrong, but why is she acting so heartbroken if she moved on too? People were no longer sure whom to trust. This drama was far from done, that much was certain. Because just now, it was more than simply Kirk's duplicity. It concerned Rashida's next plan of action. The most essential question of all was if she was genuinely as single as she said she was. The internet was ablaze. Now that Kirk had managed to turn the tide, people were beginning to doubt Rashida as well, rather than merely dragging him. Everyone was talking about the mystery dude in the leaked dinner footage. Had Rashida moved on before Kirk's girlfriend was even made public, or was she truly the victim in this case? Another video appeared just when viewers believed things couldn't get any stranger. It was clearly clear this time, not just some hazy, dubious video. It was more than just a dinner date either. Rashida was sitting next to the same man in a private lounge, this time getting in close and speaking in his ear. Then, the internet was rocked by that moment. He kissed her on the cheek after she put her hand on his leg and chuckled at something he said. It was lost on eye. Oh no, Kirk is still crap, but this doesn't look innocent. She's been moving on. The tale was getting out of control. You all dragged Kirk for a whole week. Now what? There were now two camps of fans. Team Rashida, who thought she didn't deserve what Kirk had done to her, even if she had moved on. Team Kirk, who suspected Rashida had been appearing to be the victim while discreetly amused someone else the entire time. And you know who had a comment about it all? Kirk's new girlfriend. Yes. Finally, the same woman who had sparked all of this trouble chose to stand up. When did she do it? She was a whole new level of pettiness. She appeared entirely nonchalant as she went live on Instagram. First of all, let's face it, this dude was Singio. You guys have been making fun of me like I'm the bad guy. Fans poured into the comments. I ain't break up no happy home. Please, girl. Kirk has been cheating, and you're simply the most recent one. Oh, so he was single now. You all like rewriting the history, but she wasn't finished. She went through the comments while beaming at the camera. You're so furious with me, but where's that same enthusiasm for your daughter Rashida? 'Cause from where I'm sitting, she ain't been so innocent either. And then what? She took the unfathomable move. Taking out her phone, she revealed recips, screenshots, DMs, texts with a timestamp, and just one message. Internet users were stunned by it, a chat that took place months ago between Kirk and Rashida. Kirk was pleading with Rashida to make amends in it, declaring his wish to make amends and his continued affection for her. What was Rashida's reaction? It's finished. I need to move on since I don't see us getting back together. Wait, what? This is Rashida's left him? Oh my, Kirk deserves an apology from the internet. So Rashida was crying so much. Has she already broken up with him? Chaos reigned. Rashida had been portraying the distressed wife for days, giving the idea that Kirk had caught her off guard. However, these texts, their narrative was different. Then, as if the scenario wasn't already confusing enough, a Love and Hip Hop insider revealed new information. They stated Rashida's new lover wasn't just any regular businessman from Atlanta. In fact, she had a former relationship with him, someone with whom she had dated years before. This is where the case becomes even more weird, apparently because Kirk was aware of him. According to the insider, Kirk and Rashida's marriage has always been difficult because of this individual. Rashida had been accused by Kirk of keeping him on as a backup plan, and now he had her back. Fans were stunned. Oh my God, did she honestly go back to her ex? Then, just when it looked like everything was falling into place, everything became worse. Wait, so Kirk was right the whole time? For Kirk's sake, he had no intention of enabling Rashida to prevail in this dispute. Once more, he went live. And he was taking out his own receipts this time. Let's talk about the truth. Since I have the real story, he remarked, holding out screenshots of his own. You guys love playing detective. What did he show though? Fans were left absolutely astonished. A text message exchange between her new partner and Rashida. Can you guess what day it was? More than a year ago, meaning during her time with Kirk, Rashida had been speaking with this man. The fans were going nuts. Oh yeah, she been moving shady. So Kirk was out here appearing like the bad guy, but Rashida had a whole scenario on the side. Then Kirk said something that stunned everyone on the internet. So when y'all sitting here talking about poor Rashida, just remember, she been playing games too. And like that, Rashida was perceived badly by the entire internet. She began to face criticism for being a hypocrite. So you accused Kirk of cheating, but all the while you were amusing another guy. Oh, so it's just inappropriate when Kirk does it? Fascinating. Suddenly, Rashida felt protective. She became the antagonist after having been the victim. What's the worst? She still hadn't replied. Everyone was anticipating her next statement. Would she say no? Would she strive to get her name cleared? Would she finally realize that she wasn't as innocent as she appeared to be? The internet was incensed by Rashida's silence alone. She didn't comment to the claims, didn't post anything, and didn't even acknowledge the situation for an entire day. She was the type of person who always had a response prepared, so this was odd. As they waited expectantly, followers speculated about her next comments. Some thought she was hiding the truth, while others thought she was carefully preparing her next move. However, she suddenly went live, and thousands of people watched in a matter of minutes. She appeared fatigued and had a serious expression when she initially came on TV. The seriousness of the problem was suggested by her heavy sigh before speaking, her hair pushed back, and her lack of makeup. She admitted to the rumors, claiming that she had seen the charges and statements but was not in a hurry to react. She talked briefly to those who had been pulling for her before exposing the stunning revelation that Kirk had numerous women in his life. Just one statement put folks into a frenzy. The fact that Kirk had moved on so swiftly was already tough for supporters to believe, but now Rashida was hinting that he had dated other women. Reactions erupted on the internet, and all of a sudden the emphasis altered. Kirk wasn't as naive as he had been making himself seem if Rashida was telling the truth. People demanded to know who else he had been seeing in the torrent of comments that followed. Rashida did not, however, disclose a name. Rather, she let fans piece it together by leaving it at that. Internet investigators swiftly started to work, as was to be expected. People examined Kirk's social media profiles for hints. Old images showing him attending meetings with various females, some of whom had been associated to him in the past, came to light. Then, amongst all of this turmoil, Carly Red walked into the discussion. Carly, who is famed for always having the newest gossip, went that Kirk's condition was even worse than most people anticipated. She made suggestions that there was another woman who had been connected for a while and that the new girlfriend that everyone was talking about wasn't the only one. This created a lot of debate, but then someone unearthed a picture that made all the difference. The picture showed Kirk standing close a well-known face, Jasmine, the woman he had a kid with years prior, at a private party. People were surprised when the picture began to circulate. After everything that had transpired, was Kirk and Jasmine really back together? The responses were strong. While some fans sympathized with Rashida, others thought this was just another case of the cycle happening again. Rashida took another measure while the rumors persisted. "I told you who I am," she wrote in a brief yet dramatic social media message. She merely needed to say that. It was evident she had been referring to Jasmine all along, and now the evidence was out in the open. Kirk, who had been energetically defending himself earlier, now went silent. No denials, no explanations, nothing. And in the realm of reality TV, quiet usually signified one thing: guilt. The situation escalated even further when Jasmine herself finally spoke. Instead of rejecting the reports, she tweeted a cryptic statement, hinting that people were focusing on the wrong things. That response just made things worse, as it left too much opportunity for interpretation. Was she confirming the rumors? Was she saying there was more to the story? Fans wanted answers, but she refused to elaborate. At this point, what had began as Kirk moving on with the new girlfriend had turned into a full-blown cheating scandal. The storyline had utterly shifted, and Kirk was now in the middle of a tempest that he could no longer control. He had planned to present himself as the one who had moved on, but now it appeared like he had gotten caught in something far bigger. The timing of everything, the resurrected photos, and the ambiguous texts all led to the assumption that he had never actually halted things with Jasmine. As the pressure increased, Kirk had to make a choice: either come clean or let the whispers destroy what was remained of his reputation. But he did something unexpected. Instead of addressing the claims, he released a rambling statement about people believing anything they wanted. He didn't confirm or deny anything, which simply fanned the fire. Fans weren't buying it. They wanted actual answers, not deflections. Meanwhile, Rashida continued to handle things in her own way. She focused on her business, acting unbothered, but it was apparent that the drama was affecting her. Some others felt she had known about Kirk's actions all along, but had decided to stay quiet until the truth came out on its own. Others felt like she was manipulating the situation to take the emphasis away from herself following the initial backlash. Either way, she wasn't backing down. When persons with knowledge of the situation began to talk, the story took a new direction. According to sources, Kirk and Jasmine had been speaking for months, maybe even prior to his legal split from Rashida. If accurate, it would imply that Kirk had lied about the commencement of his new relationship. This revelation just added gasoline to the already raging inferno. Supporters were split. Some thought Kirk was just incapable of being faithful, while others thought Rashida and Kirk were both guilty of manipulating the media. But the biggest issue remained: would Kirk ultimately come up with the truth? There was no denying the tension. The internet was unrelenting. Every action he did was being observed. It would only get worse if he kept silent for too long. People were searching for rapid closure. The situation had grown out of hand, and at this point, no one knew how it was going to end. Would Kirk make an effort to restore Rashida's relationship? Would he divulge that he was seeing Jasmine? Would he vanish and permit the rumors to fade naturally? This was far from over. That much was evident. Fans were excitedly expecting the next installment of this crazy saga, and the drama was only getting started.